Hello, my name is Ms. Harris, and I'm here to teach you about division using the area model. Your steps are as follows. Seems like a lot, but I promise it's easy. First, you're going to take your dividend and put it in expanded form. Put your expanded form inside the box, which is your area model. Then you're going to make a think box where you are trying to find the number that inside your box. Whatever you pick, the factor that you're going to multiply with goes on top, and your product goes inside. Then you subtract the numbers that you have inside and what's left added to the next box. And then you go back to your think box and find what you need. All right, let's see how this looks. First example, you have 72 divided by 4. So first I'm going to put 72 in expanded form, and that'll be 70 plus 2. So if you have worked with area models with multiplication, the difference is your expanded form goes inside the box. When you multiply, they go outside. And your divisor is number outside the house knocking at the door. So division is all about asking, what can I multiply 4 by to get close to 70? So I make a think box on the side. It depends on what they start you off with, what number you need to start with. They started me off with 70, so I'm going to start off with multiples of 10. So 4 times 10 is 40. Times 20 is 80. So I never want to, I'm looking at the answers that I'm getting from the multiplication, trying to get the number that's inside the box. And I never want to go over, but I want to get as close as I can. So the closest I get is 4 times 10, which equals 40. So the number I'm multiplying with goes on top. The answer or product I get goes inside the box. Now I'm ready to subtract. 0, 3. Whatever is left after you subtract, add it to the next box. Make sure you line things up correctly so that you don't add wrong. So now I'm looking for 32. Well, if I know my multiplication facts, 4 times 8 equals 32. So whatever I multiply it with, it goes on the top. The answer goes inside. Now I'm ready to subtract, and I get 0. When you get in your last box, after you subtract, it lets you know if you have a remainder or not. I ended with a 0, so therefore I do not have any remainders. Your very last step, your numbers that are on top, because when you're doing division, your quotient, which is the answer to your division problem, is always located on top of the house. So 10 plus 8 gives me 18. So 72 divided by 4 equals 18. Let's look at another one. This time I have 3 digits in my dividend. So that'll be 500 plus 40 plus 7. And this time I'll need 3 columns to fit these parts. And my divisor is 3 knocking at the door. So I'm looking to see what can I multiply 3 by to equal 500. And I do my think box. They start me off with a big number, so I'm going to start off with the big number. And it's all about the guessing game, unless you know something off the top of your head based on multiplication facts. So 3 times 100 gives me 300. I'm looking for 500, so I'm going to try 3 times 200. I always work with multiples of 10. That's 10, 20, 30, 40. Or if you start with 100, that's 100, 200, 300. Okay, 3 times 200 gives me 600. So the closest without going over would be 3 times 100. So whatever I'm multiplying by goes on top. My product goes inside the box, and I'm ready to subtract. 0, 0, and 2. Whatever's left, add it to the next box. Now I'm looking for 240. So I started off with 3 times 100. 300 is too big, so I'm going to go backwards with 3 times 90. 9 times 3 is 27, and add a 0. Give me 270, little too much. Let's try go back again. 8 times 3 is 24. Add my 0. Perfect. Exactly what I'm looking for. You're trying to find the exact number that you have in the box. If not, you want as close as you can. So whatever I multiply that 3 by over in my think box, it goes on top of the box that I'm in. So 80 goes on top, and the answer goes inside. Now I'm ready to subtract, and that leaves me with 0. Whatever's left, add it to the next box. Now I'm only looking for 7, so I can go all the way, drop all the way down to 3 times 1 gives me 3. 3 times 2 gives me 6. 3 times 3 equals 9. So 6 is the closest I can get to 7 without going over. Whatever I multiplied by, which was 2, the answer was 6. Now I'm ready to subtract. I'm in my last box, and after I subtract, I have a 1 left. So that means I have a remainder of 1 that goes with my answer. Remember, we show remainder with a R. Then I take the numbers on top of the box and add them together. 100 plus 80 plus 2. In this problem, I am able to just combine those numbers back together because I have something in the hundreds place, something in the tens place, and something in the ones place. So I could look at it and say 182, but please don't do that all the time because you might get mixed up. You might only have a tens place value and a ones place. So to be safe, I always go to the side and add up the numbers that you have on top and line them up correctly from the ones place. So 547 divided by 3 is 182, remainder 1. All right, let's try another one. And please feel free to pause the video and try to work the problem yourself and then press play to check your work. All right, so this time I have 4 digits in my dividend. So my expanded form would be 1,000 plus 700 plus 40 plus 5. And yes, I can hear you guys now. I forgot my comma. Okay. I draw out my area model. Okay. My divisor is 5. It goes outside the box, knocking at the door. And I'm looking to see what can I multiply 5 by. My first box has 1,000. They start me off big, I start off big. But hopefully we know our 5s and that we can start with 100. 5 times 100 equals 500. 5 times 200 equals 5 times 2 is 10 and 2 extra zeros. So there's my 1,000. Again, you're looking to find the exact number, but if not, you want to get as close as possible. So whenever you find it, that's a plus. So whatever I'm multiplying by, I multiply my divisor by 200. It goes on top. My answer goes inside. Subtract. I have 0 left. Whatever's left, add it to the next box. So now I'm looking for 700 in my think box. I started off with 500. And next was 200. It gave me 1,000. So I'm going to go with the 500. Whatever I multiply my divisor by, I put it on top. And the answer that I get goes inside. So 700 minus 500, 200. Add what's left to the next box. Gives me 240. And I'm looking now, what can I multiply 5 by to get 240? So I need to go backwards because my very first one is 500 and is way too much. So 5 times 90 gives me 450. 5 times 80 gives me 400. 5 times 40 gives me 200. All right, so The closest I can, oh, I skipped a whole lot. Let's say 5 times 50 to see. 25 and a 0. So 200 will be what we need. Whatever I multiply my divisor by, it goes on top of the box. I multiply by 40. The answer was 200. It goes inside. I'm ready to subtract. I have 40 left. What's left, I take it, add it to the next box. Sorry. So that is a perfect multiplication fact. 5 times something equals 45. Then that would be 9. 5 times 9 equals 45. So 45 inside and 0. I'm in my last box. I subtract and got 0. So I do not have a remainder. So I take all the numbers on top of my box, add them together to get my quotient, which is my final answer. So 9, 4, and 3. So 1,745 divided by 5 is 349.